Alright guys, today we'll be going over my top 11 coasters that I will be riding in Virginia whenever Pantheon decides to open, because we are probably going to Pantheon's opening day unless they literally just don't give an official opening day. But as long as there's an official opening day, we'll be going to that, and then on the way back spend a few hours at King's Dominion. So therefore it's a top 11 because we'd probably be planning on getting 11 credits, which are the 8 at Busch Gardens, not including the Kitty Coaster, and Dominator, Twisted Timbers, and I-305. So we'll be ranking those 11 coasters, so let's get to it. At the number 11 spot, and I think easily the number 11 spot, Loch Ness Monster. This ride just looks really rough. Like, there's some bad arrows, but this looks like one of their worst. Like, you watch some of the POVs, and it just looks shaky. And, of course, like, the transitions look bad. The over-the-shoulder restraints never help on arrows. The vertical loops look nice and all, but, like, I don't think the rest of the layout does much. Like, I think Loch Ness Monster is easily going to be the worst ride on the trip that we do. So at the number 10 spot, this might be unpopular, but I think Verbolton's going to be number 10. I don't know, it kind of just looks like almost a family coaster, kind of. I know it is a family coaster, but some people make it out to be much more, and I don't know, maybe it will be, maybe I'll be one of those people after I ride it, but I don't think it looks that good. Definitely the drop looks alright. The secret stuff in the room looks fun, but I don't know. It looks like a fun launch coaster, smooth, long, but I don't think it looks that forceful. And at the number 9 spot is well, not the other, but the second best launch coaster in the park in Tempesto. And Tempesto is a skyrocket too. I've been on Phobia, so I know what I'm getting into. These do have comfort collars, unlike Phobia, so I don't think it'll be as good as that. But I know what the elements are going to feel like. The Heartline roll is going to give good hang time. The others are going to give some good forces, so this will be a fun ride. Now, number 8 could potentially be number 6 if it runs like Oscar's Wacky Taxi, and this is Invader. Now, I don't think it will run as good as Oscar's Wacky Taxi. I think it'll run kind of like Wooden Warrior or Quasi. So therefore, I'm ranking it at number 8. But this still looks like a really good ride. Some good airtime moments. Some maybe good positive G's. Who knows? Yeah, it looks really fun. And it kind of, again, looks like something like Wooden Warrior. So number 8 seems fair for it until I ride it. Now, at the number 7 spot is Dominator. And I really don't know what to think of this. I've heard so much about it. Like, I've heard so many people say it's one of the worst B&M Forests, and I've heard so many people say it's one of the best. So I'm not sure what to think about this thing at this point. I guess I'm just going to have to go out there and ride it. It definitely looks like it would beat Batman. I don't know about Scream, Bizarro, or Rougarou, but we'll see. We'll just have to ride it and see what it does, because I've heard so many opinions on this thing. Now, at the number 6 spot is Griffin, and I am very intrigued to see if this can beat Valraven, because I know a lot of people like to hate on Valraven and say this is better, but I personally think Valraven gives good airtime on the drops. So I don't know if Griffin's going to be that much better to beat Valraven, but we'll see. The inversions look fun. The splashdown is a nice visual, so overall, Griffin just looks like one of the better dive coasters. Definitely better than a lot of the ones in Europe. Now we're into the top 5, and this is where we take a huge jump in quality, in my opinion, by the looks of it. And number 5 is going to be Alpengeist, and I think this is, at the very minimum, going to be my second favorite invert. It's got potential to beat Banshee, that's for sure. The first half, I think, will definitely beat Banshee's first half. Like, the first half looks monstrous. Like, these inversions look huge. They look intense. They're just everything you could want out of a first half of an invert without terrain usage, which it kind of does use the terrain, but not like Nemesis or anything. So, in that ways, it's kind of a shame that it's not like Nemesis, but oh well. And then the second half's really what makes me skeptical that it could beat Banshee, because those inversions just don't look that fast in the second half. So if they run slow, I think it's gonna be my second favorite invert. If they somehow do run really good and the trims don't hit extremely hard, then I think it could be my number one invert for sure. Um, so yeah, Alpengeist is definitely high up there on my bucket list. And number 4 is gonna be Apollo's Chariot. And I think this has potential to be my second favorite hypercoaster behind Nitro. I know a lot of people think it's like the worst B&M hyper or whatever, but I think it looks really good with that like forest setting. A lot of the airtime moments, I hear some are ejector even, so that's interesting. I believe it. So like especially in the second half, some of those look ridiculous. Um, I definitely think this looks like a back row ride for sure. A lot of those ejector moments I feel like would come from the back row, but yeah, Apollo's Chariot, it looks like an amazing B&M hyper, so number 4 is probably appropriate for it. And now we're down to the top 3, and number 3 is going to be Twisted Timbers. Yeah, Twisted Timbers, this looks like definitely in a slightly upper tier RMC. I think it has potential to be my second favorite RMC I've ridden. The barrel roll down drop looks alright. From what I've heard, it's not as good as the traditional drops. Um, the rest of the layout just looks like Steel Vengeance's second half as a second ride, and I feel like that's what a lot of people say it is like if Steel Vengeance's second half was its own ride. So that gets me very excited because I love Steel Vengeance's second half. Not quite as much as its first half, but I still love it. So that sounds really good. Twisted Timbers just overall looks like an amazing ride, and definitely looks like it would be a top 5 coaster I've ridden. Now we're into the top 2, and number 2 is Pantheon. And if you watched my last video, you know I was not a big fan of the pacing of this thing, and I'm still not, but that doesn't change the fact that this layout is amazing. And even if it's running slow, it's probably still going to give good ejector airtime. Maybe not quite on the level as I was hoping, but still really good. The stall looks really good. The Outer Bank, again, definitely not going to be as good as Steel Vengeance is, but really good still. The top hat, yeah, that just looks slow. The launches, those look really fun. The spike, that could be really good in the back, so I think this is going to be a back row ride for sure. Yeah, Pantheon, that's why we're going here. We got to get there first thing, get there immediately before it shuts down, because I have a feeling this could be a lightning rod here, with like all the technology and stuff. So yeah, Pantheon at number 2, that's definitely where I put it. And at number 1, without a doubt in my mind, is I-305. And this is currently my number 1 bucket list coaster in America, number 2 bucket list coaster in the world, only to Ride to Happiness, of course. Yeah, this just looks so intense. Like, that infamous first turn just looks ridiculous. And then that first hill, like, coming out of that gray out / blackout, and then getting ejector airtime out of that looks crazy. I don't know what that's like, because I haven't been on I-305. Like, the I-305 is, like, really the only thing you can experience something like that on. And then the triple snaps, these look insane. From what I've heard from some people, they give, like, insane positive G's, and then, like, suddenly you're just violently, like, ejected to the other side of your seat. Like, these look crazy. And the other hills, I hear a lot of people say this thing doesn't give airtime. These other hills look really good as well. So overall, I-305 looks like maybe a top 5 coaster in the world. Definitely looks like it would be my number 2 coaster I've ridden. So overall, I-305 just easily looks like the best coaster in Virginia. So that's my list of the top 11 coasters I'll be planning to ride on this trip. Again, it's not 100% confirmed yet because we don't know exactly when Pantheon's opening, but whenever we know, we'll probably get tickets for Busch Gardens and stuff, and then we have we have platinum passes, so that won't be an issue for Dominion. So overall, what do you guys think? Is my list good? Do you think? Let me know from people who like have been to these parks. Like, are my predictions like correct, or like do you have completely different opinions? So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.